So we'll start off with a mid-tone grayish brown color. For that I'll just take in a bit of white and some black and just a tinge of brown, maybe more of brown. And let's come right over here and just drop in a far off mountain. Okay, I'm just blocking this in as of now, and I'm using the angular brush to do this. And I've added a bit of water too to get that smoothness in painting. Okay, something like that. Now it's yellow ochre, lime yellow and green. Let's come over here and just block in some grass. Okay, something like that, and as they're going to come forward, they'll get darker. I'm using the number 2 fan brush, and as they're going to come closer, they'll get cooler because they'll move away from the light source. Just blocking this in, and we'll have some grass action over here too. With that itself gives us the texture of grass. Okay, just like that. Now it's a yellow ochre, brown, green, touch of black, almost a mid-tone color. I'll come over here and just tap in some trees. Okay, make them smaller because as you're going to proceed automatically they'll get bigger. So I had that sketch. Now I've just darkened this a bit. Okay, something like that, and some over here too, just for the sake of being consistent. Do that, create all sorts of shapes. Trees grow in different directions in all angles. Okay, just using the number 2 fan brush and just breaking that sketch. That's it. Just like that. Apply more pressure if you're running out of paint. Okay, I've loaded my number 2 fan brush with very little black, and I just go over here and just add in some texture to this mountain. Just tapping it. Don't load too much paint. And at the bottom it will be very dark. Just like that. To make it look natural, I'll just add in some extra texture. Just like that. That's the reason I painted this towards a lighter shade rather than a mid-tone color, because I knew I wanted to add in a lot of texture. So here I'm getting another tree. Yeah, I wanted another tree, but it's happening automatically. Okay, just like that. So now it's some yellow ochre, black, green and lime yellow. And just go over here and just kind of dropping in that texture of grass. You don't want to load too much paint. Okay, something over here too. Just creating some divisions in the grass. And as you're going to come forward, just push them downwards. Now I want very little paint, and as I get very little paint, I'll just go ahead with applying more pressure. That don't want too much of texture there, so I'll just barely touch it. Okay, something like that. So now I've added in some white to that color which is there on my brush. I'll just go ahead and drop in some background trees. They're just like that. Barely touching the surface, just from the tip of the brush. Okay, something like that. And if you want more paint to stick on the canvas or the paper, you can apply more pressure. There's some over here too. So now with some black and brown, I'll just go over here and add in the shadows to these trees. Also creating that texture of leaves, foliage. Okay, something like that. Just darkening these to add in that contrast against that clear sky. So just like that, and some over here too. And just like that. So now I've taken in some lime yellow, and I just go over here and indicate some highlights to these background trees. Okay. So now let's come over here and drop in another tree. Make them look super loose. I'm still making use of the fan brush, number 2 fan brush. Okay, something like that. And maybe we'll have another tree right with there. We'll add in texture for that one too. Okay, and something just like that. Just tap it. Now I'll just go ahead and drop in some highlights. Just tapping this. Now I'll add in more of green. And just do it like that. That underpainting and that texture helps. Just like that, and okay, something like that. Just adding some texture of highlight, and it'll be fairly darker at the corners, but still no, I'll just drop it in. Yeah. So now that same color, I'll just go over here too and just drop it in, and I'm just gonna drop in some of those highlights over here too. That leave a lot of gap if you want more texture. Okay, something like that. So now with some black, just go ahead and adding in some more texture to those trees. And it will be fairly darker at the bottom. Continue that texture so that everything fits together. So now with the muted green color, let's come over here and just drop in some of those textures. Still using the number 2 fan brush. Look at that, with one brush you can do so many things. You could even make use of 1 inch or 2 inch brush, but since this is a smaller surface, I just used the fan brush. Okay, something like that. Now I've added in more of yellow ochre. Just adding in some texture of leaves and foliage. Okay, something like that. So now I'll just make use of black without cleaning the brush and just go over there, then just a bit over here too, right? Just like that. And I'll just go with this one also. Okay, something like that. So I've switched over to a rigger brush, and over there I've taken in some black. Okay, something like that. Maybe another one's gonna go like that, and over here too we'll have another one. Taking more of water, and just the lighter you touch it, the thinner it gets. And maybe another one over here. We'll create all sorts of breaks and stuff. Okay, to make it even more interesting, I'll just pull out some above the paper. So just like that. Okay, and let's get this one a bit taller. Over here too. Look at that. Just making it look, trying to make it look realistic. Look at that, just like that. Dividing those branches into sub branches. Okay, something like that. So with the soft gray color, let's go over here and just drop in some water. Okay, and now I'll just switch over to black and just reflect these back into the water. Yeah, just like that. Taking a bit of yellow ochre just to warm it up, and add in that yellow ochre will turn into green eventually. Okay, and over here it will get taller. That barely touching the surface. That itself creates instant reflections. Okay, something over there, and still using the angular brush. Just slowly bring it up like that, and then Look at that, just like that. Let that pick up the texture of the paper. Apply more pressure to make it denser over there in the middle. Without cleaning the brush, I just went ahead into some yellow ochre and green. Let's reflect these in the water. So till now I've just used the rigger brush, angular brush and the fan brush, number 2 fan brush. Just like that. And if you want, you can leave in some textures intact. I'm just tracing that thing right over there. Take up the angular brush and just blur that a bit, and another one's gonna come off right over there. Okay, and I'll just bring this all the way down and just creating some of those textures and just doing it like that, just wiggling to make it look natural and bring out some individual stuff. Look at that. Some over there, and that, just like that. It's that easy. Let that also pick up some of those textures of the paper. Okay, go back to the angular brush, just muting them. Don't want them to be too dark. Just like that. And if you want, you can just darken this one too, just to create some variations. So now I've taken in some of that same color and just gonna pull it this side, just combining those two, blending, not exactly blending but bringing them close together. Okay, something like that. I'll take up some black on my rigger brush and just creating that separation between the land and the water. Okay, some over there, and we need to reflect some of those grass. Okay, just go up into that grass and just try to reflect them. Okay, something like that. Go back to a rigger brush and just create that line of separation between the land and the water. A bit of covering is required there. Just darkening this. So now I've taken in some more black and just creating that separation again. That is very important, that separation. Just bring that upward. Something like that, and reflect that into the water. Also went back and reflected some green in the water. Okay, something like that. Now I'll just go ahead and add in some more texture and make this a bit denser, just like that. Let's pop it outwards to make it look very realistic and natural. Okay, just like that. So I just went into some lime yellow. It's all about playing with colors, shades, shapes, angles. Okay, something over there. And if you want, you can just highlight over there too. Something like that. And with my rigger brush, I'll just pull out some branches, just like that, and then maybe I'll just add in a bit of foliage there. Let them be darker because that's against that light clear sky. Okay, just like that. Still using the rigger brush to create that leafy texture. Something over here too. And some over here too. Just following the same steps. Just touching it. Don't want to go too crazy with that. So now with some lime yellow, I'll just go over here and just give it some highlight, just a bit, not much, and it will be mainly over here. So I went straight into some lime yellow. Just tapping it with a number 2 fan brush. That today I've used only 3 brushes. Okay, something over there. And if you want, you can just tap in some over here too. Just a bit. Just tap it. Use other corner. Something like that. I'll leave some of those textures intact to make it look beautiful. Now with some more black, I'll just go ahead and make the stencil. The bottom, I want this bottom to be quite dark. So with this, I come to the end of this painting. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.